Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today here on TIP International Radio. I'm your host, Leah Maston. We are showcasing prestigious top professionals from all industries all over the globe to share their experience and stories of success. We have a very special guest returning on the show, joining us all the way from Melbourne, Australia. She is an educational consultant for the Learning Development and Standards Division of the People Development Command Section of the Victoria Police. She has over 3 decades of professional experience in education and is a woman who has mastered the art of training and assessing programs for police recruits, detectives, crime scene officers, and prosecutors. She is an honored member of the International Association of Top Professionals, IAOTP. Everyone, please welcome Miss Fiona Davis. Hi, Fiona. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Leo. It's great to be here.
So, Fiona, I know you originally started as a primary school teacher and were a part of the Australian Army. Tell me about that and how you got started with the Victoria Police.
After about 20 years in the Army, I was coming up for, I suppose, re-enlistment is what they call it after, because I had a short-term commission. And I just wanted to change. I think, after 20 years, I was getting to that age as well where maybe being employable wasn't, looking as attractive as it was. So I just decided, let's go job hunting and see, what's out in the big wide world. And I just saw the advertisement for Victoria Police on a job seeking website, answered the selection criteria, must have, like we all do, maybe exaggerate your abilities a little bit and, be a bit liberal with the truth and managed to get a face-to-face interview. Again, succeeded in the interview and basically the next day they'd offered me the job. And, that was it. I took it. And I think about 2 weeks later, I'd gone out of my green uniform and, was working for Victoria Police, which was, in some ways a bit of a challenge because after 20 years in the Army, what did I wear all day? A lovely green uniform. And sort of I suddenly realised when I started working for Victoria Police, I had to have a whole new wardrobe, which was, interesting because I had some friends who then decided to take me shopping. So, while they assisted me choosing, I just pulled out my credit card and that was it. Yeah.
You had your personal shoppers in tow.
Well, yes, it's always good to take friends with you because you want to, you always want to make sure that what you're buying is looks good on you.
Right. What do you think has been your biggest obstacle that you've had to face, whether in your current position or prior to your position, in order to pursue your goals?
I don't think there have been any big obstacles, so to speak. In most ways, I've always managed to achieve what I've wanted, not always straight away, and not always completely what I wanted all the time. And sometimes it took a few goes to get there. And there were some, hiccups along the way. But in a way, I think I've always managed to get where I wanted to be and do what I've wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the obstacles, if you want to really call them obstacles, I think have been of my own making. Hesitant about wanting to make a change, having confidence to do the change, maybe having the confidence to say, yes, I can actually do this, and getting out and doing it. So probably some of it have been my own making,
Right.
rather than of external.
What would be some advice that you would give to somebody starting out in your industry?
Be prepared. Know what you're going to do. Know your subject. Know your topic. Know what your job's about. Listen to other people. Listen to those who have got the experience, because you can always learn from other people, and ask lots of questions. I've always sort of said to people and believe there is no such thing as a stupid question, because if you didn't know something, you might as well ask, because otherwise you never know. And in fact, asking lots of questions is a way that you will learn to do your job or learn to do something.
Mm-hmm. That's great
Yeah, so I
advice.
think that's pretty much the advice I think, I've given to people.
Throughout your illustrious career, you have won numerous awards, honors, and featured in magazines worldwide. You
Yes.
received the Australian Army Active Service Medal and the Australian Army Long Service Medal. In December of 2019, you were honored at and spoke at IAOTP's annual awards gala at the Bellagio
Mhm,
Hotel for Empowered Woman of the Year, Lifetime Achievement Award, and Educational Consultant of the Decade. This year,
mhm.
IAOTP named you International Hero in Education and will honor you at the Plaza Hotel in New York City. Last year, you graced the front cover of Tip magazine.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What would you say has been the highlight of your career or the most memorable experience that you've had to date?
Well, I think there's probably been two in a way, and I think most of the magazine articles have featured the fact that in 2003 I went to East Timor. I was deployed with the army to East Timor, where I was in charge of the English language program there, teaching English to the East Timorese soldiers. And this program was actually to prepare them to come to Australia to do officer or soldier training. So learning English was quite important to them. And then I suppose last year, during Melbourne's lockdown, um, uh, Victoria Police, like a lot of organisations, stopped training, basically through safety. They've
Right.
just said, look, we're going, except for recruit training, they basically stopped every other training. And during that time, I offered my services back into the army. So I then got deployed to what they the COVID-19 task force that was actually set up here in Melbourne to assist the Victorian government deal with the COVID-19 outbreak that it had, because by that stage we were having something like 200 a day um, infected, and we had numbers dying in the, it was just out of control. And in a way, the state government appealed to the federal government for defence personnel to help out.
Yeah.
So I actually offered my services, and then so for 3.5 months last year, from August to November, I actually served back in the army, helping out with our task force, um, which I suppose I found in a way um, a little bit odd, because you don't often get deployed to your own state and help out your own people, and that was sort of, it was a bit of, a bit of an honour to do it, but also a bit odd, because you don't expect to do it in your own state.
Right.
Hmm. Yeah.
Speaking of COVID, um, tell us about your life in Australia and how COVID has impacted your position, if at all.
Really, I suppose in a way, COVID struck here in Melbourne in about March of last year, and um, as the numbers and the infections got worse, we were sort of locked down for worse. And I suppose, in a way, um, they really wanted to restrict, people moving. So they just basically locked down and said, look, there are only 4 reasons why you can leave your home. Fortunately for me, because I'm working for Victoria Police, it was classed as an emergency service, so I was able to still continue going to work if I wished, which I did. And then it was in around about July, they sort of said, well, look, we can't continue training people. It's just not safe. We're just going to suspend all training. And so that's when, my work, I suppose, decreased, for want of a better word. And I was able to work from home. But that's when I went, and went back into the army. I know my partner started working from home in March, and basically it's now March this year, and he's only just starting to go back to the office. So um, I suppose I wasn't really affected that much by it, because I was still able to work, unlike a lot of other people where they lost their jobs.
Right.
Being working for the state government, at least I had a job. Yeah, but you know, when you think back on the 115 days where we were locked down, I think it made a lot of people more resilient, um, and in a way it brought families probably together more. I mean, fortunately, my other half and I, we got on fairly well when we were working from home. I mean, I was quarantined with a COVID scare where I had to quarantine at home for 14 days, and we got on quite well for those days. He had his office, I had my office, and you know, we managed to go to survive every day. So yeah,
You have your space, it's doable.
yeah, yeah. So I suppose in some ways for me and for us, COVID didn't impact as much as it did for other people.
Yeah,
So I'd say I've come through fairly lucky.
absolutely. When not working, I know that you have some hobbies. What do you like to do for fun? What you can do for fun, given COVID.
um, well, I do like to read just to for enjoyment, and most of the reading is just reading detective novels. Funny enough, working for the police, I read detective novels, but mostly it's just reading for enjoyment. You don't really want to have to concentrate, so you just have a bit of a read. Obviously, here playing with the dog, of which who has just walked into the room now as if on cue,
I
comes
can
into the
hear.
room
I
so to
can hear.
say, yep, yep. He's now
And
just
how is he doing?
how's Bill? Oh, look, Bill
Bill,
had the best of the time last year because he had, his owners home 24/7,
constant
and he
attention.
also, and also he took over the bed, and that became his spot. But yeah, so playing with him. I'm hoping to get back into playing field hockey. Obviously, with COVID, all sport in Australia was cancelled last year, and especially in Melbourne. So hopefully, I'm going to be able to get back and play sport. But certainly, even last year during COVID, and this year, my biggest hobby is making jewellery.
Right.
So I've been able to do a bit of that. Yeah, and this year we've just started being able to go back and do classes because obviously last year with COVID, they weren't allowed to do any classes at all. So this year we've had reduced numbers, but I've been able to go back and do a few more classes just to pick up a few techniques that I've got a bit rusty on. But yeah, I've just managed also with my jewellery to looking at setting up a website to start possibly doing a bit of selling. So yeah,
Oh, that's exciting.
yes, yes, but it's still a hobby. So,
Right.
but it's good. It again, it's being creative with my hands. It's
Yeah.
doing,
It's
yeah,
art.
it's fun. It
Yeah.
is. It is, and I've got sort of about three or four different sort of techniques in jewelry I'm doing, but it's good. It keeps your brain going, keeps you active, keeps you poor. Buying things is not cheap, but and especially during COVID, the internet shopping was extremely high. Uh, like with a lot of people, you couldn't go to the shop, so you did it online. And yes, there were quite a few jewelry shops that probably did quite well out of me.
Yeah. So for 2021, since travel is what it is and our outlook is what it is, what are you most looking forward to? Like what's your silver lining for this year?
Ooh, that's a toughie. Um, I don't know. I suppose it's just being able to get back and play a bit of sport.
Yeah.
Um, um, do more of my hobbies. Yeah, just have a better year than last year.
Yeah, be active
Um,
again.
yeah, be active. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, just be able to do everything again.
Yeah.
I know we've got a beach house down out of Melbourne, so hopefully we'll get down there a bit more often, and maybe even be able to fly over and see my sisters in Tassie. Who
Yeah.
knows? But I think just being able to have a bit more of a normal year. I think that's really just 2021. Just have a better year than last year. Be able to do a bit more.
So looking back, what would you say that you attribute your success to?
I think like we were talking earlier, probably just probably hard work, being prepared, wanting to have a bit of a go, and I suppose an attitude of a bit of a can do. let's give it a go. Let's try hard to do it. I think as we're one of the things I suppose I've learned being in the army is you've got to have a bit of a can-do attitude. Let's try and do it. Let's overcome an obstacle and go round it, go over it, overcome it and get on with it. Because that's really what you've got to do. And that's, I suppose what I've done with COVID. Get on with your life, get over it. Don't let it rule it. Just do it. If you want to do something, do it. Have a go.
Have a go.
Even if you fail, or it doesn't, it doesn't work out, or you don't like it, at least you tried. As they say, you never know if you don't have a go.
Yep. I like it, Fiona. You've inspired me this morning. My to-do list is going to have a new kind of vigor.
Excellent. Well, you go and have another coffee, and I shall go and have a wine.
That is a plan, my dear. Take care. I will talk to you soon. Okay.
See you, Leah. Bye.
And please, for more information on Fiona, you can visit www.iaotp.com/Fiona Davis.